Let's discuss this with Dr. Bharat Pankhania in Bath in the UK. He's a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Thank you so much, Doctor, for being with us on the program today. Now, what exactly has made this dangerous, rare strain of Ebola reemerge?
It's human activities, without a doubt. So what happens is people consume bushmeat like fruit bats, chimpanzees, monkeys, or similar. And then they get infected by that animal and then bring it to the human population. And then the difficulty is, by the time you realize that this is Ebola, many people have already been exposed and have been infected. So that's the reason why, by the time you know, many other people are already incubating the infection.
Right, and as you mentioned, Ebola is believed to have been transmitted from fruit bats. We saw the same situation with COVID-19. Walk us through the specifics of how viruses as lethal as Ebola and COVID are being formed within our bodies.
So what happens is when people interact with wild animals who carry these viruses naturally, we get infected by it. And these are RNA viral viruses, hemorrhagic viruses. They need to replicate inside our bodies. And when they're replicating, they produce proteins. And these proteins start harming your liver, your kidney, your brain, and cause you to bleed internally and externally. But by the time all these serious symptoms appear, many other people have already been in contact and been infected.
And of course, vaccines are seen as key treatments here, but in developing countries, unfortunately, they don't always have access to the medication they need.
Well, with respect to vaccines for the Sudan strain of the Ebola virus in Uganda, unfortunately, we do not have a vaccine. So with respect to vaccines that are available, we've got one that works against the Zaire strain, but we are not sure if we've got a vaccine that works against the Uganda strain, the Sudan strain, which is circulating in Uganda. And as a result, the only containment, the only control measure we have is being aware, telling people to exercise hygiene measures and doing all those case finding and containment measures. That is all we've got at the moment.
Would the vaccine that has already been formed for the previous strains of Ebola work at all for this new Sudan strain or the rare Sudan strain that we're seeing reemerge?
We don't know. So that's the big issue, because we don't think that there is cross immunity or cross protection from the vaccine that has been used. So with respect to the Sudan strain, there is one vaccine from Johnson & Johnson which may work, but that takes a long time to deploy, because you have the first dose and then the second dose, and in between there are 56 days. So the vaccine in this case, unfortunately, is not the answer.
All right, Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour and giving us that insight.